So here's an example of a type of question we can use to check comprehension. A yes, no question. A yes, no question is an example of a type of question. Great. So we've got asking students to repeat back, to summarize back. How many? Can you show me questions that require more than a yes or no question? Yes or no answer. Did that story have a happy ending? That's an example of a yes, no one. Think about the tests that you took when you were in school. Can you give me an example? How? What kind of questions might you ask about an image? What do you see? What are they doing? What is happening? Why do you think she's picking up the baby? What do we see? True or false? Great. What color is her shirt? Who are these people? Exactly. What colors, etc. Tell me about this picture. Ask for an opinion. What is your opinion about this? Great. So we're going to watch a video. And in this video, there's a range of question types. And the ones that we are looking for in the video are true, false questions, either or questions. So for example, is this a banana or an apple? That's an example of either or. Fill in the blank, multiple choice, WH, asking for an example, asking for a definition. And I think you named all of those in the chat, which is nice. And I'm gonna unmute everybody. Well, let's just do this in chat again. Give me an example of an open-ended question in the chat. Sure, where do you think they're going? What do you think he's doing? Give me an example. How does this make you feel? What's happening in the picture? Great. What might happen next? Predicting about the future. And then give me an example of a close-ended question. How many? Is this a banana? Yeah. Does she look happy? There's another open-ended one. Does he have a hat? Does the family have a car? Yes, good. So again, open-ended questions are ones where any variety of answers could be correct, and close-ended ones are when there is a correct, concrete answer that we're looking for. So let's see here. Okay. So this video is going to have two different clips in it. The first one is from an intermediate class, and the second one is from a low beginning class. And so here's where you need your paper and your pen. Because I haven't yet figured out how to get you documents that you can look at while we're watching the video, I'm going to ask you to copy this down on your paper, and feel free to abbreviate things however makes sense to you. But this is what we're going to be looking for in the video. So we've got the types of questions over here. And then you're going to be tallying what you see in each of the classes. So however you want to write it down, make it so that you have these question types and you have a space for them to tally. And then we also have these 3 questions over on the right. And again, feel free to abbreviate however makes sense to you. And when you're ready to go, give me a thumbs up.
I forgot. How do I do thumbs up?
Oh, I'll count that as your thumbs up. How about that?
Okay.
There's Cicely. Hi, Cicely. Oh, you can see my screen, can't you? I clicked away from the PowerPoint. Sorry. Can you see it now that I have my Zoom in the way? Okay.
This is Laura, and I keep trying to do thumbs up, but it's not showing.
Okay.
It keeps disappearing. So
Yeah, that's okay. It disappears. Now I'm just watching your faces. Looks like everybody's pretty good to go. Okay, so if you were in the previous Zoom thing that we did, I had you click away and watch the video on your own computer. I'm going to experiment with showing the video from my computer. I'm sitting right next to my modem and my router, so I'm hoping that it will work and not get glitchy. But if it gets glitchy, just hang tight and we'll come back here to this main room. Thank you for your patience while I figure these things out. So, oh no, I don't want to do that. Okay.
So what do you remember about?
Okay, could you see and hear that? Couldn't see and hear it? Okay.
I
heard audio.
Not
see.
hear it, but not see it.
I think
There
you have
she
to
is.
click away and then go back. How about now? Do you see a YouTube page?
Yes.
Okay, and let's try it again. Can you hear it?
About the
Yay! Yes, okay, good. All right, so your task during this clip of the video, it's about 10 minutes. You're tallying the types of questions that you see, and you're jotting down notes about those other 3 questions. Okay, here we go.
Yes, no questions. How do you know if a question is a yes, no question? Eva?
I think that's not the question on do or does or did.
Good, yeah. So it might start with do or does or did. If it starts with do, what is the verb tense? Present tense. If it starts with does, what is the verb tense? Present tense. If it starts with did, what is the verb? Past tense. Good. Why do we have 2 for present tense? Good. Plural and singular. So if I want a question with I, should I use do or does? Do. If I want to use a question with my mother, does. Does my mother. Right? So we use do for I, you, and all the plural subjects. Okay? We, they, the students. What's another plural subject? Families. Good. Okay? We use does for singular subjects. He, she, it, or names. Chua, because chua is just one, singular. Okay? Good. Who wants to start with a question with do? Can you ask a question that starts with do? Okay, Emma?
Do you live in a big house?
Good. What do you think? Is that a good yes/no question?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Leah, can you answer her question?
Yes, I do.
Yes, I do. All right, good. Let's get another question with do.
Do you go to shopping today?
Do you go shopping today? Let's think about that. If I'm asking shopping today, am I talking about all the time or later today? Later today. What verb tense should I use for that? Will, right? That's future. Will you go shopping today? Because it's not happening now, and it's not happening every day or sometimes. Now, if we change it and we said, do you go shopping on Saturdays, which means every Saturday, that would be okay. Or do you go shopping in the morning, meaning every morning, then that would be okay. Let's do another example with do.
Do you have family?
Can you say it again?
Do you have family?
Good. Chua, can you answer her question?
Yes, I have a family.
Good. Okay, let's do a question with does. Good. Miriam, you want to try a question with does?
Does she want
Does she want
to dance?
to dance? Good. Honey, can you answer that question?
Yes, she does.
Good. Okay, let's do a little practice with a partner, and then we'll see if we need to do some more review, okay? So I'm gonna have you work 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 3, and I'll work over here. And with your partner, I want you to just practice do and does questions right now. Ask your partner a question, they're gonna answer you. They ask you a question, you answer. Okay? So, go like this or point to the person who's gonna be your partner. Who's gonna be your partner? Point to your partner. Point to your partner. You have 3, right? Okay, good. And then, Pani, which words are you going to practice right now?
Do and does.
Do and does questions only, okay? Practice asking the question and answering the question. And then after we've done a little practice, then we'll see, do we need more information? Okay? All right, give it a try. Practice with your partner.
We're going to continue into the next video. The next one is the low beginning one.
Yes.
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 No.
Yes.
Yes.
No.
No. Today is Wednesday. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. Teacher Barbara is a doctor. Yes or no? No. Teacher Barbara is man.
No.
No. All right. This is a man. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. This is a man. This is a doctor.
No.
Yes or no? This is the doctor.
Yes.
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 Yes. My stomach hurts. Number 3. My stomach hurts.
No.
No. Number 3. My shoulder hurts.
No.
No. Number 5. My back hurts.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Number 5. Back or stomach?
No.
Which one? Back or stomach?
No.
Back. Yes. Number 5. Back. Number 6. Shoulder or stomach? Which one? Shoulder or stomach? Shoulder. Number 6. Shoulder. Number 3. Shoulder or head? Head. Number 4. Stomach or back?
Stomach.
Stomach. Good. Number 5. Is it back or shoulder? Back. Number 3. Is it stomach or head? Head. Number 6. Is it shoulder or stomach?
Shoulder.
Shoulder. Good. Okay. Is this the clinic or school? Is this the clinic or school?
Clinic.
Clinic. It is the clinic. Yeah.
Yes.
Is his body sick? Yes or no? The man, is his body sick? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Yes, his body is sick. Yes. We say the man is sick. The man is sick. Yeah. Who is this? Doctor. Who is this? The man. Who is this? The nurse. Good. Who is this? The man. Who is this? Nurse. Who is this?
Doctor.
Doctor. Good. Where? Where does he go? Go to the doctor, the clinic, the doctor's office. Where? Number one, what? Okay, all right. What does he do? Number one, what does he do? The man sits down. Number two, what do they do? What do they do? They go to the doctor? And do they read or do they talk?
No.
The nurse, the doctor, the man, do they read a book or do they talk? Do they talk? What do they do? What do they do? They go to the doctor and talk. And talk. The clinic. They go to the clinic. You're right, Bilal. Who is the doctor? Number 1, 2, or 3. Who is the doctor?
2.
Number 2. Why?
Why? Kinini. Uncle Kinini, number 3.
Why is this the doctor? What do you see?
Number 2, women.
What do you see?
Man. Doctor.
Yes, the doctor has the stethoscope around her neck. You're right. Good.
Okay. Okay. You could see the audio, you could hear the audio, you could see the thing. Okay, great, great. All right, and you took notes on paper. Yeah, great. Okay, so now we're gonna go into breakout rooms. You'll all be unmuted and talk about the notes that you took. So talking about what kind of questions that you saw and what specific information does the teacher learn from the questions? How does this inform what happens next? And what is one other method the teacher could use to check comprehension? Okay, so here we go. Send you, oh, how many do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 15, 17. We'll go into 5 rooms. There we go.
Are you there?
Yeah.
All right. How did that go? Audio, video, everything good?
Yeah.
Good.
Yes.
Good.
Did you only invite us back Or did you invite everybody?
Now everybody's coming back.
Oh, I was like, you could have popped in the group.
I haven't tried that yet.
I wish the broadcast message was bigger. It's pretty
very
easily
small.
missed.
Yeah.
The text is small and it goes away, and
A lot of my students have sort of pay-as-you-go cell phones.
Okay, I know. That will make it hard, for sure.
Yeah, and so expensive for them. I don't want them to feel they have to.
Right.
Okay, I'm gonna mute everybody again. Looks like we have everybody back. And so we'll go back to the chat window down at the bottom. And please write your, let's say, one main takeaway from your breakout discussion. What's sticking with you from that breakout discussion? That's my alarm for the breakout. Awesome. Great. Okay. Let's go through these here. So Jennifer said how subtly the teacher moved from simple to more complex questions to check comprehension. I noticed that in both videos that they both moved very seamlessly between those levels of comprehension, those levels of questioning. Karen said the yes/no cards held up by the teacher were helpful for the students. Absolutely, at the low beginning level. I had never seen that before. That's something I want to steal. That we need to be aware of repetition. Definitely so much repetition in both of those. Really nice spiraling. As the level of the class went up, the questions also increased in complexity. So in the low beginning class, we saw her starting with yes, no, and then either or, and then WH. And when she saw that students were not comprehending, she went back down to the yes, no, or the either or. And that also happened in the other class. It was just more complex. So the same strategies continue to work. The English becomes more complex. Deb says the importance of confirming comprehension of classroom or lesson instructions. Yeah, like how the first teacher asked the students, who's your partner? Which words are you using? That was cool. We all seem to notice the scaffolding of questions that occurred in class too. Yep. Both teachers not only used level appropriate ways of checking comprehension, but also set the students up for success in doing so. Yes, I think that Kathy said that about checking comprehension helps us see where students are before we get too far into the activity and the lack of comprehension snowballs. So we're setting the students up by checking comprehension early. Jeannie said, I thought one class was teacher-centered, the other had more student involvement. One class, the teacher had closed questions, the other one had more open questions. Yes. Thoughts about that? Feel free to unmute yourself. Thoughts about that?
Has to do with the level of the class.
Yeah. Say more about that.
Well, that it's the beginning class is simpler and much more focused on yes and no. So you tailor the questions to the class and expect commensurate answers.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think that the second teacher in the low beginning class was starting You know, we've talked about, if I'm sure you all remember your e-learning that you did for me. I'm sure you all remember all of that. But talking about that I+1 level, which is Krashen's theory of if this is the student's level, we want the teacher talk to be right above it, not way up here, because that's going to be frustrating, but we want it to just be I+1. And she started with those yes/no questions, moved up to either or to WH. That's an example of scaffolding, of helping the students get up to the point where they're producing the language without her giving them the sentence structure, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. So you're right that the intermediate class had more student talk time, definitely. But the low beginners were able to produce quite a bit of English in the end, and they were showing their comprehension of the text, even with those limited answers. Yeah, Jeannie, go ahead. You're still muted, Jeannie.
I thought some of the students in the beginner class were participating a lot, but there were only a small handful. There were a lot of them that were really quiet. Mm-hmm. And so I thought that the teacher was really teaching to them and they were getting it and moving up. But there were lots of them in there that I didn't know what they were getting. That's how come I said it was more teacher oriented and that there wasn't a lot of student involvement. Like they could have been repeating more. They could have been asking the question to someone else or that kind of thing so that they would all have to get energized.
So you noticed that some of the students were less engaged, less participating, and more repetition, more working with those images before moving up the hierarchy of questions.
I thought that because there were a couple of them that I didn't really see say anything. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so that's why I thought she was kind of clueless about that. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. So you would have built in more repetition.
And had more, like, get them energized as they're doing, like, whatever that might take.
So some kind of way to get them up and moving. Maybe they have the yes/no cards.
Yeah, that would be a great idea.
Something like that. Yeah, great point.
Yeah.
Great point.
Yeah.
Great. Okay. So speaking of getting up and moving, we've been on the Zoom call for almost an hour, and as we've come to learn at Literacy Connects, Zoom fatigue is very real. So everybody put down your laptop, stand up from your computer. We're gonna take a stretch break. You're gonna see that my skirt doesn't match my shirt. Oh no, I'm gonna go over here so you can't see my skirt.
There you go.
Everybody stand up. Stretch. Feels good. And then sit back down. We have one more class video to see. Okay. So same thing. Okay, so we explored questions. We saw the video with questions. Now we're going to look at other ways of checking comprehension. This second video is a what do you call? A montage of different class clips, and it doesn't show you, this is beginning, this is intermediate. It doesn't, there's no like cards in there. So it's a little bit disorienting, but same thing. You'll just be watching for particular things during this little, what do you call it? I can't think of the word. Montage. And we'll be looking at other ways to check comprehension. I'm going to share my PowerPoint with you again, and there will be some more things for you to copy. Okay, so this time, you're just watching for these 4 things. We'll talk about them in a second. So just copy these down. You're going to tally what you see. Oops, sorry. Oops. And when you're done copying, please write done in the chat.
None? Oh, done.
Done. Done, done, done. Okay. So let's talk about these briefly before we jump into the video. Let's say unmute yourself if you have an answer. Well, here I'm gonna do an example of cold calling, and I'm just gonna call on somebody, and I'm going to unmute you. So, what is cold calling? Linda Runkle, tell us about cold calling.
That's just picking a student, just calling their name and asking them to answer the question.
Yep, just picking a student, calling their name, asking them to answer the question. What is think, pair, share? Bruce, tell us about think, pair, share.
He's mute.
Oh, I'll unmute you there. I cannot unmute you.
Hello?
There we go. Gotcha, Bruce.
Yeah, I was just saying, posing the question and then pairing off with a partner or a fellow student, and then sharing the information with the group and teacher to see where they're at.
Yep, exactly.
Okay.
Yep. So the teacher poses the question, gives students time to think, then they talk about it with a partner or a small group, and then we open it up to the whole class to share their answers. Non-verbal check-ins. Some examples of non-verbal check-ins. How about Diane? Diane Boyer.
Muted.
No, I'm not muted. I just wasn't saying anything. I'm thinking about a good example.
Oh. Keep thinking.
Are you thinking of things like asking students to demonstrate something?
Sure, sure.
You know, could you point to, or could you, I'm not quite certain what you have in mind.
Sure. So for example, if you're doing fruit, you can say point to the apple.
Okay. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
Great. Get the, put it on top of, put it next to.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. So those are all examples of TPR, that total physical response, where students are demonstrating comprehension by doing actions.
Okay.
Yeah, great. Thank you. Other examples might be asking students to give you a thumbs up when they're finished or they understand, or giving a thumbs down, things like that. Things that do not require verbal communication, but are nonverbal. Okay, everybody feel good about those?
Mm-hmm.
Great. So we will go back to the video, and again, you'll just be tallying what you see. And so I'm going to do that. And then okay, here we go.
Sam is not glad. She is sad. Everybody.
Sam is not glad. She is sad.
Show me sad. What's sad?
Sad.
Show me sad. Show me sad, doll.
Sad.
Doll.
Sad.
Look, doll. Show me sad.
Sad.
Yes.
I'm going to read a word. You are going to show me the last sound. So let's do some practice. If I say bun, bun, what is the last sound?
N.
Yeah, so you need to show, so this is to practice listening. Good. Bun, bun. Okay. If I say bus,
This.
yeah, you need to show me S, bus, bus. Okay. And for this is listening practice. So I will check. Okay, so, okay, think and show me your answer, and I will tell you okay, or you need to change it. Okay, next one. Train. Train.
Last.
Good. Train. 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 Last sound. Train. This is the first sound. Train. Yes. Last sound. Last sound. Yep. Okay, good. This is a little difficult. Okay. Next one. Bike. 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 Good. Good. Bike. Good. Bike. Bike. Good. Next one. Left. 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 Good, good, good. Left. Good, good. No. Left. You can put this one down. Yeah, just the one sound, last sound. Yeah, one sound, left. Good.
Show me your fingers. Number 1. Show me number 1. Number 2. Show me number 2. Number 3.
3.
Number 4.
4.
Number 5. And number 6. Okay. I will say a sentence. You show me the number. Okay? My head hurts.
Number 3. Number 3. Yeah. Also, yeah, so. 3.
I want 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I want 8 students to answer. Yeah, so no talking. Again. My head hurts.
My head.
Is it number 3 or number 5?
3.
Number 3. Number 3. My head hurts. Good. Okay. My back hurts. My back hurts. Look again, Lou.
5.
My back hurts. Is it number 3 or number 5, Lou?
No.
Number 5.
Yes.
The man sits down.
Number 1.
The man sits down. 1.
Very good. Number 1. He goes to the doctor. He goes to the doctor. Yeah, number 2. Good. My stomach hurts.
4. 4.
Yes.
No.
My stomach hurts.
4.
Number 4. Number 4. Right? My stomach hurts. Number 4. Good.
So we are going to point to the sign. Where is the exit sign? Okay. So everybody? Exit. Yeah, exit. Where is the stairs to the right? Stairs to the right. Okay. Where is stairs to the left?
Yes.
Stairs to the left. Good. Where is the elevator sign? Elevator sign. Yes. Yes. Okay.
I will say one word. You look and touch on your paper. Ready? Dog. Show me dog.
Dog.
Good. Dog.
Dog.
Good. Map.
Map.
Touch map. First sound map.
Map.
Good. Yep. And you can say it too. Dorina, that's good. When I say it, I hear you repeating it. That's good English. That helps you to learn faster when you say it too. That's good. Touch cop.
Cop.
Cop. Cop. Cop.
Cop.
C-O-P.
Cop.
C-O-P. Cop.
Okay. I have some different questions for you to discuss in breakouts. And feel free to copy these, or if you want to just remember them. The two questions are, which methods of checking comprehension seem to be the most effective and why? And could you use any of these in your own teaching, and how would you adapt it? So take a second to jot those down if you like. And when you're ready, type hi in the chat. Okay, great. All right, so we'll go back to those breakout rooms. I have about 5 minutes to talk there in the breakout rooms. Ready, set, go. Okay, I think that's everybody back. Welcome back. Let's go to the chat again. And please answer that question about, could you use any of these methods in your own teaching? And how would you adapt it for your learners? Could you use any methods of these methods in your own teaching, and how would you adapt it for your class? in the chat.
I'm sorry, what are we, are you waiting for someone to?
Yeah, which of these would you like to use in your class and how would you adapt it? You can type that in the chat box.
Oh, in the chat.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Sorry.
That's okay. Great. Okay, let's talk about these. Okay. So Bruce likes using signs. Great nonverbal. Linda, will you tell us what you mean by I would use a show me a sound?
Just like she did show me the sound when she said the word train, show me the letter N. Just doing that activity and maybe using it more specifically for sounds that we were having difficulty with.
Yeah.
And I know at first I thought she had the whole alphabet out, but I guess there were specific sounds, so you could tailor it to whichever letters or sounds you needed.
Yeah. Yeah. So holding up a card with the sound on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that activity and all the cards that you need for it are in the pronunciation kit boxes that you can check out from the library. And there's also a video of that same teacher doing a whole lesson with that activity on this same YouTube channel. I can include that in the notes when I send this out. It's a really great one to see how she does it. Checking comprehension of instructions, show me with cards, TPR responses. Yeah, all these nonverbals. One thing that I loved from watching that video was watching how students were watching each other with the cards or with the numbers. So it's a great way of supporting those diverse proficiency levels in the class. A lower level student might not be right there yet, but they can see what everybody else is doing. So it brings down the affective filter and helps them feel comfortable in the class. The end of the word, same thing. Let's see. Using finger ID, is it number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4? Again, you can very quickly gauge comprehension because you're just looking at people's fingers, and it supports those lower level folks. Pat says, I would like to see examples of how nonverbal could be used in an intermediate class. Yeah, good point. It's the same strategies, it's just different questions. Yeah, so Laura says you could use thumbs up, thumbs down. You could use pointing. You can still do TPR. It's just more complex English. Yeah, Linda?
I was thinking in the intermediate class, you could use whiteboards. So it could be more open-ended and they could put an answer on a whiteboard and then you could check.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, any kind of grammar or vocabulary activity you can have, everyone has their own whiteboard or DIY whiteboard. They hold it up. It's nonverbal, but I can very quickly see the comprehension level. Yes. Touching the word or picture. So thinking of doing online classes on Zoom, holding up fingers would work well. Any kind of hand indicator would work well. And then Cheryl attached a document here. Cheryl, tell us about this.
Well, it was an accident. I first of all, lesson learned, when you click file and you click something, it automatically sends. You don't have an option to hit send if you decide later on you want to send it. So I'm glad it was something appropriate. Well, I had just mentioned it was more for you, Kate. I don't know if your beginner level Ella classes more specifically would use pinch cards. I had shared in the breakout. For those of you that don't know, I don't work with the Ella program. I'm in Reading Seed. I'm just here to watch Kate do her thing. But when I was a teacher back in the day, I had my students use pinch cards that I made, and it achieved the same kind of nonverbal response. Except what I liked about it is that the vocabulary was printed on the card, so there was kind of reinforcement of some vocabulary like agree and disagree would be on a card. And so then they would hold it up and they would pinch, agree, or disagree. I had a pinch card that had yes or no, a pinch card that had numbers written numerically and alphabetically, and then kind of like a multiple choice A, B, C, or D. And that's how we did our nonverbal communication. But yeah, I didn't mean to push that out. It was just an image I found online. That I wanted to share.
Cool. So pinch cards are very similar to what they were doing with the letter cards, except that they're putting their finger, there are maybe two options on the card and they're putting the finger.
Yeah, and each of my students had a ring of 3 or 4 cards, and the 3 or 4, one was agree, disagree, one was the numbers, one was yes or no, and yeah, so cool. It was handy.
Cool, thanks. We have think, pair, share, definitely giving students time to think. Taping up signs and asking students to point, which would be valuable in real world sign reading. Cicely says she would not use cold calling much. Cicely, tell us more about that. You're muted.
Sorry.
There we go.
It puts people on the spot, and so it's, at least, especially coming from me, so I would use it sparingly. But you can also play games with the intermediate level. We did a concentration game where we had people also saying the words as they turn them over, and students had a ball with that. And everybody wound up giggling, but
yeah, that's great. So again, with games like concentration where students are using cards, you can see their level of comprehension, and it's a very low stress way of checking comprehension. So Cicely's point about cold calling, making, putting people on the spot, I think is very true. But we can build in some safety there. For example, I would never cold call on people prior to doing think, pair, share. But if I asked the question, gave students time to think, time to practice with a pair or a small group, then I would call on people, but not before they'd had that time to think and practice. Yeah. Great. Thanks, everybody. Good thinking there. Let's see. Okay. So two more questions in Zoom. First question in Zoom. What is one thing that you are taking away from these 2 videos? What is sticking with you from these 2 videos? In the chat box.
One thing for me is always watching good teachers to remind myself to be patient and to not have any heartburn over repetition.
Yeah.
I assume too much, I think.
Yeah. Looks like that's coming up in the chat box too.
I agree with the assumption there. And I have, not being a teacher, have felt that too much repetition was condescending. And I've learned that it really isn't if it's done right. Because learning a language is hard.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's see what's happening in the check box here. Chat box. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So it sounds like repetition is really something that many people are taking away. That it can feel like because our students are adults that repeating and repeating is condescending. But in reality, it is a way of showing them respect, because if we barrel through things too quickly, then that increases frustration and decreases comprehension. So if we're doing the repetition in a respectful way and we're building a little bit, you know, like she went from yes, no to either or to WH, she was building even though it was lots of repetition. We are honoring students' background knowledge and hard work and pushing them a little bit further. Jeannie misses her students and getting to teach. I think everybody's probably feeling that. Pat says scaffolding of questions, adapting methods of checking comprehension to be student-centered. Fred says, I'm really not ready for, Fred, did you mean beginning level?
Yes, I certainly did.
Yep, beginning is a whole different ball of wax. Many great ways of checking comprehension. Another way to encourage student participation. The value of showing comprehension is in kinesthetic ways to increase enjoyment. Spiraling the difficulty, again, moving up that hierarchy. Scaffolding and using more non-verbals in fun ways. Great. Great. And one last question for the chat box. What did you learn about Zoom? We're going to switch hats and think about what it was like for you as a participant, maybe what it was like for me as a teacher, if you saw me sweating a little bit trying to figure things out. What did you learn about Zoom? Be patient, be calm. Wise words, Deb. It takes practice, but it's awesome. Students, yeah, we all experience these little glitches as we're learning, and students are going to need some coaching. Cheryl says the file sends automatically. The chat rooms are useful for large groups. Yes, Jennifer, that's something that I learned, wondering about reactions, which are the thumbs up and the clapping versus raising the hand. I didn't know that. We can incorporate files from YouTube. You can send a file. Yep. There are other ways to respond in the participant window. Hands up, yes, no. Bruce says don't use a phone. A learning curve, but it does get easier, definitely. Yeah. So speaking of using Zoom, we, on Monday, you probably saw the email, we're going to have a panel, a Zoom panel discussion with 4 of our teachers who were able to get in touch with their students and have been doing some Zoom classes. and then 2 teachers from the refugee education program who are using other platforms with their students, like WhatsApp, which is an app, and even just calling and texting. We're going to hear from them. So the message is not that you need to go out and start, figure out how to contact your students and start teaching. We are just hoping that that will be an opportunity to hear what is possible and what folks are doing. So I hope that you'll join us for that. That's Monday at 1:30. And if you didn't get that email, let me know. And I'll send you a survey again, because that survey was really helpful last time. That helped me learn about ways to make it all a lot more manageable. So thank you, everybody. This was awesome. It's great to see everybody. Feel free to unmute yourself, say bye. Lovely to see you all.
So good to see everyone. Thank you so much for coming.
Bye all.
Thank you.
Thank
See you Monday. Have a great weekend.
There, I'm giving you claps too. Bye, everybody.
Well, wait, how do we end?
There's down in the bottom right corner, it says end meeting.
Oh, leave meeting? Okay.
Leave meeting, end meeting for me.
I'll stay on, Kate, for a minute.
Cool, thanks. Oh. Let's say nice thing.
Is Pat there? Pat?